Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Welcome to the Great Debaters Contest. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyambok. Our motion today is birth control should not be introduced in schools for adolescents. On this motion, we have St. Mary's Girls Igoji and KibirichwaBoys. Who will be the victor?
Proposal number 1, you have 3 minutes.
Michelle Bwari, St. Mary's Girls Igoji, proposing the motion. Contraceptives, condoms, jadels, nimechil. These are the words you always hear. But what are they? These are the birth control methods. The methods or the mechanisms that are used to avert pregnancy, the rate of childbirth. So, do these birth control methods help us? Yes, they do. First, they help us to prevent diseases. Most of the adolescents do very many things without thinking. They actually go ahead and do sex without even thinking, and they end up doing unprotected, unwilling, and even unprepared sex. And they end up also getting HIV, cancroid, and many other sexually transmitted diseases. So with the BCM, they're actually going to be protected against these diseases, and it's going to lower the risk of getting ovarian cancer, uterine cancer, and even excessive hair loss. Okay, my second point is about pregnancy. So imagine an adolescent, 9 to 19 years old. Is that person really ready to take up the responsibility to build and actually bring up a kid? Seriously, when this adolescent gets a child, will she see the world in this sand of rain? Will she see a heaven in this wildflower, or is she going to see chaff? Seriously, we have to teach these kids birth control methods. That way, they'll be able to know the right contraceptives to buy. Males will be able to buy their pills, not only the ladies, and they'll know the right instructions. They'll know the right websites to go to and the literatures that they're going to read from. Then, if an adolescent is curious, believe me, whether you teach them or not, they're going to go ahead and do sex. The difference is the one who has been taught will actually be protected, and the one who has not been taught is going to actually be affected by it. So you get the difference. I hope you do. They're going to do sex whether you teach them or not. If they're curious, they will. Birth control method is not all about protecting. It's not all about it's not all about saying that the adolescent should go there, be free, do sex, or be immoral. It's about training them. We are actually training them not to be immoral, not to go and do sex anyhowly, but to be protected. In case they decide to do so, they are going to be protected. They are going to make wishful decisions. They're not going to go there and make unwise decisions in life. So think about it. Are we going to teach them or ignore that? Thank you.
We will now have the opposition. You have 3 minutes for your opening statements.
Okay. Eric Mwanda from KibirichwaBoys. I'm opposing the motion that birth control methods should be taught in schools to adolescents. This is because, first of all, one wise man who was a Swahili said that mwachamila ni mtumwa, or in other words, it's one who lives his traditions is a slave. This is because, as Africans, children were a source of wealth, and they were a source of wealth that they were used to make property. This is because people in the African traditions, they intermarried so that to get many children. So I am opposing and urging you to help me oppose the motion so that everybody will have to procreate, and so that there will be many children in the country. Secondly, students in schools, if they'll be taught how to control births, this will lead to them becoming immoral. This is because in teaching them, it's like you are accepting sex in the society, making it legal, or romanticizing sex so that it will be accepted to them. Thirdly, to many students, sex is not accepted in the society. So I'm opposing, because in life, the most important thing in life, people are very important in their graves. This was said by Monroe. So I want to say that in the society, in order for us to go to move forward, we have to stop teaching the children birth control methods. And to sum it up all, the main purpose of sex, as you all know, is for procreation. So why don't you let people to procreate and fill the earth as it is instructed in the Bible? And as you all know, we are all Africans. And so it's our duty. It's like our duty to procreate and fill the earth. More so, some of the birth control methods, for example, condoms, they have been proved to be not efficient. It's about 7 out of 10 condoms which are effective, meaning that the 3% when it will be used, it will lead to them getting pregnancies. And these pregnancies are the ones how will they be catered for? So the best thing we should do is that the children or the adolescents, they should not be taught birth control methods. Instead, we should learn to have a lifestyle that will help us procreate, fill the earth, so that we get even people to protect even the nation. For example, the security people. We need a lot of security in the country. So, due to this, we need to procreate, fill the earth, so that we'll be secure. More so, and to sum it up, one man said that, one man known as Monroe, he said that the richest place on earth is the grave. Why should we terminate lives? Thank you.
We'll now hear rebuttals, beginning with the proposers. You have 3 minutes.
My fellow friend said that sex is not allowed in the society, and also he said that we're supposed to fill the earth. Actually, why fill the earth while you don't have the resources? Why fill the earth why have a high population that is unproductive? Going straight to my point, data clearly shows that giving the adolescents more information of what they want actually reduce the risks of engaging themselves in sex, and also premature reproductive behavior. If not taught birth control methods, they'll actually be in dangerous situations. According to Associated Press IPSOS poll carried out in Florida, America in October 2007, 77% supported teaching and giving contraceptives to adolescents, whereas 62% said that they believe teaching birth control methods reduces the number of teen pregnancies. Looking in our society today, teen pregnancies actually are rampant. Why? Because these teenagers don't have that methods. They're not learned. They don't know of how to take care of themselves, even though they go ahead and get engaged in sex. Come to think of it, the teen pregnancy rate is too high in our country. Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, birth control methods should be taught so that if they do choose to have sex, at least they'll have that knowledge of how they're supposed to protect themselves. Then, the other point is to say that birth control teaching is not saying you can go ahead and have sex all the time. It's actually teaching them of how to gain that knowledge, of how so that they can be able to protect themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, let's equip our adolescents with the knowledge that they require, with the tools to make an intelligent decision, to make a substantial decision, so that they may not be able to suffer the repercussions in the future. Thank you.
Opposition, time for your rebuttal. You have 3 minutes.
I am Israel Omido Lugadiu, KibirichwaBoys. Harry has no blessings, was what my mother told me when I was 10 years old and I told her that I want to have a girlfriend. Why did she mean this? She said, as in what I mean is that I as a teenager, I still as an adolescent boy, I still have my decisions and my goals to go and pursue. For example, the goal of education. An adolescent is between the age bracket of 12 up to the age of 17 years old. With the goal of education, I am still in school and I still need to pursue my career. If I am taught, and I repeat, if I am taught how to use birth control methods. If I gain the knowledge, that is just the same thing as telling me that because now you know, you can go and practice it. Reason being, you shall know how to control unwanted pregnancies. My sister, who is the first opposer here, she said that adolescents they go and practice sex without thinking. What are we taught in schools? We are taught to think. We are taught to think and make wise decisions. So my sister, I prove you wrong and tell you that each and every one of us knows the repercussions of sexual behaviors. Though we may be using birth control methods, have these methods proven to be 100%? Of course not. With life, there is no probability. With life, there is never any probability. My brother here talked about things like condoms, which have only proved to be 7 out of 10% efficient. And let me repeat again, what about the remaining 3%? What if you yourself engage yourself in sex? Teenage sex. Reason being, you know the birth control methods in order to prevent yourself, I don't know, from getting pregnant or something like that. What if you lie among these 3 who are going to get pregnant? Are you going to abort the baby? Or are you going to let the baby live? If you let the baby live and if you keep the baby, or even if you choose to abort, there are still repercussions which are terrible to face. Number one, especially for the girls. How many girls have I seen? How many girls have you yourself seen dropping out from school? Reason being, they have contracted early pregnancies. With this education, does not only come various disadvantages, but also comes the failure of empowering the girl child in the most correct of ways. With that, I rest my case.
Ingawa leo tuko chini, twatembea matopeni, siwasikize matapeli, M-Pesa yatujali.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp, and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
The proposers have been asked to clarify more on the side effects of birth control, like cervical cancer, etc. And the opposers have been asked to clarify on the link between sex education and the rate of teenage pregnancies. To begin with the proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes.
Hi everyone, my name is Hope. I'd first love to answer what Elder asked. The birth control methods, for example, the contraceptives, they actually lower the chances of getting uterine cancer, ovarian cancer. They balance also the menstrual cycle. So according to research, these birth control methods are actually preventing diseases. And again, birth control methods does not only mean using the contraceptives. We also have the natural ways. And that is why we have to introduce this teaching to our children so that we can equip you with the information that you are required to know about these birth control methods. And to my first point, the social climate is changing. We cannot compare the 20th century with the 21st century. Times are changing. In those days, premarital sex was a crime. But look at the world today. The media has exposed us to so much of these things. Sexual immorality is here with us. So we have to find a way to deal with these sexual problems. If we teach these birth control methods, we are going to help our young adolescent girls and boys. If you are sexually curious, that curiosity will lead you to have sex no matter what teaching you get. But with these birth control methods, we are going to help you, to teach you on how to protect yourself even after engaging in this sex. Then, looking at our world today, Parents have left their responsibilities. Personally, my mother cannot sit teaching me about sex and sexual related matters. So whom are we leaving our adolescent children to? We have to teach them. We have to equip our adolescent children. And that is why we should introduce these birth control methods, since parents seem to have failed to do their roles. So why not employ specialized people who will equip our adolescents with the required knowledge they need? Then, in my school, a foreman did not report back to school, mainly because she got pregnant, dropped out of school. If this young girl had the chance to get this education, her dreams would not be shattered. Her future would not be darkened by the pregnancy that she got. Yes, she engaged in sex. We do not blame her. The crime has already been committed. But if she would have been taught, she would have known better ways to prevent herself from getting pregnancies. My friends, if you think teaching birth control methods is actually causing harm to our adolescents, please try ignorance and tell us the results you'll get. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to answer the questions.
Nakuomba Nyerea, usitoe mimba yangu. Mungu akileta mtoto, analeta sahani yake. I'm Kelvin Moridi from KibirichwaBoys High School. And actually, every time I think of this song, I ask myself, what if Nyerea had the knowledge of birth control methods? Would we be still singing this song? But this song is actually to educate the youth. It's actually to educate the youth in large numbers, mass education. Because if Nyerea had the knowledge of birth control methods, some people will never know the implications of engaging in sex with adolescent sex. For the first question about the feeling the world, one wise man, the sagacious forefather, said that 2 minds are better than one. And this means combined ability is better than uncombined ability. So if we regulate the population in this world, in this Kenya, in this country of ours, we will have less minds to think and come out with a good decision. But if we encourage the population to rise up, we will have a diversification of thinking, a diversification of careers. Let's take, for example, the creation of new methods of technology. This will help to cater for the problem of unemployment due to the new technology. Okay, in the Netherlands, we're working about facts. According to Google statistics, Netherlands is only teaching adolescents sex education or birth control methods, and not primary school kids. And then, ask yourself, what is this change that they are talking about? Is it change from good to bad, or is it change from bad to good? Is it change from our Africans' moral values, or is it change for good? Is it the destruction of human African cultural values that they are advocating for? We know that change is dynamic, but we should ask ourselves, is it change from bad to good, or is it change from good to bad? And as I sum it all, teaching adolescents sex education will make them have the spirit of adventure. What will they do? Thank you.
We'll now get closing submissions from both teams, beginning with the proposition. You have a minute.
Rearing adolescents in ignorance is not the right thing to do. So let us not pretend to be holier than thou. Let us equip our adolescents with the right knowledge that they require to make substantial and intelligent choices. Then, Trust me, I would rather have my kid taught and enriched with knowledge about sex and how to protect themselves using these birth control methods than not having them, than not letting them have the information at all. So let us ask ourselves, should we leave our adolescents to live in the darkness with no knowledge, or equip them with knowledge? Thank you.
Opposition, you have a minute.
She said that we are actually ignorant. She told us that we should try ignorance and see the repercussions when it comes to matters about sexual education. I beg to correct, I beg to differ, that we are not being ignorant, but we are being patient. And to that effect, I even added, and I even said, a methali in Kiswahili, or if you want, a saying in English that says, hurry, hurry has no blessings. Let me tell you something. Since, for how long are we going to be as Africans? For how long are we going to continue borrowing cultures and changing our cultures and following the cultures of the Western people and the un-African people? For how long are we going to continue doing this? My dear brothers and my dear sisters, comrades, let me give you that name. It is for each and every one of us Africans, not only as Africans, but also as men who think, to rebuke this proposal. I rest my case.
Michelle, for your team, St. Mary's, I want to believe that as a first speaker, you know your role, and you know that you're the one who sets the pace for the next two speakers come into the floor. So if you come and your summations are a bit bumpy, you know, I would just say that it was a fair start. It wasn't the expected one that will give energy to the rest. Brenda, fair as well in cross-examination and giving out your summations. And I think for me, Hope Mirichi was the strongest in the team because you came over, you gave out your submissions in a very strong way, answered the questions as expected, and also had a very good and punchy ending to sum the entire team. Nonetheless, that was a fair work for the team.
To KibirichwaBoys, I have a question to the team. My question is, who said the use of contraceptives will lead to promiscuity? That's something I wanted you to address, because I think the argument here is that if people are allowed to use contraceptives, they'll end up being promiscuous. I'll give it to the girls because they say that the issue here is not that we should teach contraceptives or the use of it in school to encourage students to use it, but we should teach them for future use of that particular knowledge. Number two, in your last submission, I think it was Kevin, you said that contraceptive is a foreign idea. And my problem here is, who said anything foreign is evil? You see, the fact that it is a foreign idea does not necessarily mean that it is an evil thing for us to use or for us to embrace. Eric, I want you to phrase your ideas properly. One wise man who was a Swahili once said, and it sounds so weird, you know, it's a Kiswahili proverb, it's not really one wise man who said. And again, you said one man known as, you know, learn to phrase your ideas in a beautiful way. Israel, I think in the team you are the strongest, and I said it was a fairly good presentation, but you don't contract early pregnancy, correct? Watch on your language.
Birth control methods is not only about contraceptives. The motion was not that contraceptives should not be taught in schools. It was birth control methods. And birth control methods include abstinence, which none of the teams, you know, took as a, you know, as something that you could run with and you know, convince us as a birth control method. And that even within the African traditional society, there were birth control methods. Maybe not the contraceptives as we know them, but there were mechanisms that, you know, that ensured that there was birth control. As a debater, when you leave the stage, one of the things that you need to ask yourself is, what is it that people remember when you leave?
Judges gave St. Mary's Igoji 63%. Please give them a round of applause. For KibirichwaBoys, the judges saw it fit to award you 64%. They are our winners for the debate.
We congratulate them. We've had a wonderful debate this far, and for more such debates, keep watching us. From all of us here at the Great Debaters Contest, it's goodbye till next time. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyambok. Thank you for watching.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.